Hi, this is Shemaya from Talk Nerdy with Us and San Diego Comic-Con. I'm here with the executive producers of Siren. How are you guys today?
Great, we're having a great time.
Yeah, congrats on getting picked up for season 2.
Thank you.
How do you approach the season? You have more episodes. You have a fan base they've been watching week after week. How do you go into that second season in a way that you can still keep people on edge? Because at the end of every episode, season 1, I was just, oh no, what's going to happen? So how do you keep that same suspense up this season?
Well, we learned a lot from last season too, and what moments really worked. I guess some did, so I'm so glad to hear that. And then we sort of start at that point about these are the things that might drive us, and thematically we keep things going in ways that were interesting to us, about the oceans and the relationships and whatever else really worked. We start there.
You know, we also found in season 1 too that we would often leave each episode with a cliffhanger, and the next episode almost picks up straight at where that left off, because when you've got mermaids in town, you can't really take a week break because you're wondering what happened to the mermaids. So I think the rhythm of the show really has that kind of bingeable quality where it's you can just kind of watch one right after the other, and they all play out really continuously. Yeah.
No, I loved it. And I hated how at the end, well, I loved it, but I hated how at the end Calvin calls the news editor, and it left on the biggest cliffhanger so far. It's just how will that play out in season 2 without giving away any spoilers?
That Calvin, that troublemaker. So it does play out, but in an unexpected way, in the way we always like to do everything, which is that, yes, that will cause a little trouble, but maybe not in the way you thought. So that's how we're going to approach that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of the show, is just the threat of the secret getting out and them always having to keep the lid on it. I think that creates just a lot of tension within the show, because you can imagine what would happen if that secret got out and just how crazy it would be. So they always need to sort of keep it under wraps as much as they can.
Well, I'm excited to hear more about Bristol Cove and all the inhabitants, because I know you said last year Jaws was a big inspiration for you. And I love how in the movie it's not just about the shark, it's about the town, its inhabitants. And I really feel like in season 1 it was a lot about Ren. Is she an animal? How much human is she? So I'm excited will season 2 go into the humanity of Ren? Will that be explored more? And also Bristol Cove, Pownell history.
All of that, because we all love watching Rin, I think, explore the world. And that's, again, why we like to go slowly, because there's so much to explore. But also then we're going to learn a lot from them as well. And Ben and Maddie are always equally interested. So that'll help.
Yeah, I mean, the town is a character in our show, and like Raina said on the panel, it was so great that she actually got to get out of her shop and go into the bar, and you realize, oh, she's friends with Sean, and they're, because it's not a tiny little town. It's big enough that you wouldn't necessarily know everybody, but there's a lot of crossing, so that's really fun to build that town in a very real way. Yeah.
I'm excited to see all of it, since we, like you said, we know the different relationships between everyone. We have Maddie's mom finally confirmed to be in the next season. So how will that all play in with her? Because I don't know if this is a little plug or an Easter egg, but Jill or Gil that plays Officer Sheriff. Oh, Gil, yes. Because I know that there was a little throwaway line that he went to Forks, Washington. I didn't know if that was for Twilight. The fan in me, I used to be a Twihard back in the day. So I saw the Forks, Washington, and I was like, oh, he was also in Twilight, Billy Black.
There's a little inside joke there, yeah.
In the writer's room, somebody was like, okay, so I'm glad he was looking out for the Twilight fans here.
Like that,
yeah. Sure. So how will that Maddie's mom being back play into the Bishop family?
Secret. There's a big secret, and there's a lot of emotional baggage as well. So as you try to tell an emotional family story, this giant secret, really gets in the way. So that's sort of how we're going to handle it all, but it'll be very complicated and difficult.
Which how family is. So yes. So we are Talk Nerdy with Us. So what have you been nerding out about lately?
What have we been nerding out about?
It can be anything: TV show, movie, video game.
Within our show, I just love all the mermaid mythology and how you can get so specific with that, and again, just as she learns stuff about our world, it's just so fun, and the way Eileen performs it, as she comes across these new weird things, like she was talking about, like, oh, is she gonna have to learn about shampoo and conditioner? You know, it's like all these like human rituals. Now that they're on land, they actually have time, and they're not just having to swim around and survive in the ocean. Like, what's gonna happen? You know? Yeah.